Hello, everyone. This is A'shanti Gholar, the president of Emerge. Welcome back to another Races to Watch Live. We've been going live at the top of every hour since 10 a.m. Eastern, and we're ending at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm back for another conversation that I'm excited for, as you all know, because that's my word I've been using all day. For our last segment, I was able to introduce you to two of my amazing Emerge sisters, the EDs of Emerge Wisconsin and Emerge Pennsylvania. And for this segment, I get to introduce you to two more amazing Emerge sisters, Representative Athena Salman of Arizona and Representative Kyra Bolden of Michigan. How are you both today? Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So first I want to start with, what are you seeing on the ground? We know Michigan, Arizona, both battleground states. The presidential candidates have been battling out there. We know almost 100 million Americans have already voted. What are you seeing today?
Yeah, it's really exciting on the ground here in Arizona. When we started today, election day, we had seen the voter turnout in Arizona actually surpass our 2018 total turnout, which for viewers tuning in who aren't aware, 2018 in Arizona exceeded our 2016 voter turnout. So we're really starting off on a strong footing. And the other exciting thing is the ballot returns between Democrat and Republican here in our state that was for a very long time considered a conservative stronghold, really is hanging on neck and neck. And that's not counting the hundreds of thousands, almost over 700,000 voters who aren't affiliated with any party who have also returned their ballot. So we're approaching about 2.8 million votes total, and we still have, it's 4 o'clock here in Arizona, so we still have 3 more hours for folks to go get their voices heard and go to the polling place and cast their vote.
Awesome. What are you seeing, Representative Bolden?
Yeah, so similar here. Just in my district alone, we've had a 94% return rate on our absentee ballots. And the absentee ballots are almost the same amount as the total turnout in 2018, just in my district. So we've been seeing a lot of good things on the ground, and the polls have been slow and steady. People are really getting their absentee ballots in.
Love it, love it. So I want to dive in talking about state houses. We still need more women in state houses. You know, a big story after 2018 was we saw Nevada and Colorado become majority women in their state houses. Out of the top 10 states that have the most women in state houses, Emerge has affiliates in 8 of them, which makes me so happy. But we know we still have a long ways to go because women are still less than a third of state house representatives. Mm-hmm. So we still need more women running and winning for those seats. And we know a big part of that is flipping seats. And for both Arizona and Michigan, there are some key targeted races where Democrats can make some gains. So Representative Bolden, can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing in Michigan with some key seats that could be flipped and we could get you some more colleagues?
Yeah, so I am very excited to report that our Democratic caucus in both the House and the Senate have reached gender parity. So we are already right there with exceeding the number of women for our usual state house. Now, our top flip seats, which we only need 4 to flip, the majority of them are women. And so we know that the base of support is going to come from Oakland County. All of our potential flips in Oakland County, Michigan, are women. And so I'm excited to welcome, and some, or at least one of them is an Emerge sister. And so I'm excited to welcome them and flip the house.
Yes, I love that. And Representative Salman, you're also the minority whip in the state house. So tell us, what are we seeing there with some seats that we can flip?
Yeah, we are really excited. I mean, back in 2018, eyes weren't even on the state house. A lot of the emphasis and focus was trying to flip the state senate, which at that time was the numbers that we see today, 3 to gain a majority, 2 to get a tie. And that year shocked everyone. And for us, in the best of ways, we ended up with 4 new Democratic seats. The partisan split is now 29 Democrats, only 31 Republicans. And there are multiple House races, many of which the Democratic candidate are Democratic women, which is very exciting, that are in play, where we feel pretty optimistic. We feel that there is a high probability that several of these districts can put us over that hump, where come the 2021 legislative session, we're going to be seeing, fingers crossed, a Democratic majority. And for one thing, having 31-29 would just be a whole new day. We haven't had the Democratic majority in the legislature since the 1960s. So we've been controlled by conservatives for over the past 6 decades. But I'm hopeful with just the amazing work that the candidates have done, the incredible infrastructure that we have, not only with the party, but we have a lot of organizations that have focused on turning out the vote of communities of color, of our Latinx community, our Indigenous community, our Black communities. I think this community coalition-wide effort, we might even see our majority grow to 33, maybe even 34 Democrats in our 60-member chamber. So I'm just very excited, because it's going to be night and day. For the first time in a very long time, Democrats will have to be at the table in all the decisions that are being made on behalf of the state and all of our constituents.
And I do want to dive into talking a little bit about legislation. Both of you have been legislating in the middle of 2 pandemics, like I like to say, a health pandemic with COVID, a racial injustice pandemic. Representative Bolden, we know that things got very messy and dangerous there at the Michigan State House. So we're very glad that you are safe. What are some of the types of legislation that you think that we can see when we do have more Democrats in the Michigan State House and the Arizona State House? Whoever wants to start.
Yeah, so I think we will continue on with criminal justice reform. There's been a lot of bipartisan work this term, but of course there are some pieces of legislation we would like to put forth that may go beyond our Republican majority's liking, that we would probably introduce. Also, just protecting women's reproductive rights are, incredibly high on the priority list, and just getting our economy back on track after COVID, because a lot of, well, as some of you may know, our Republican legislature filed a lawsuit to strip our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, of her powers to issue executive orders regarding pandemic response to COVID. And so she doesn't have those same powers in order to protect us. So with that went water shut off protections and rent protections and mask mandates and, all these different health measures. And so we will be looking to codify a lot of the governor's executive orders and maybe expand upon them as we are surging in Michigan currently, but also, threading that fine thread of making sure that our economy is sustainable, which can be done by wearing masks, but making sure everyone has the personal protection equipment and the resources that they need in order to operate, but also making sure that we are safe during this pandemic.
Everything Representative Bolden mentioned, we share as priorities here in Arizona. The unfortunate thing for us is we have a conservative trifecta. So our governor is Republican, and then both of our chambers in the House is also controlled by Republicans. So when we flip that, on the top of the ticket is holding police accountable for the brutality that we've seen. In Arizona, folks don't know that we have 2 of the top 20 deadliest cities, Phoenix being 3rd deadliest in the country, with our police department and shootings of citizens, and also Mesa being 13th. So that the epidemic of racial brutality by state sanctioned means is something that we've been living with here for a long time, and Democrats are prepared to take up and put at the top of the agenda come 2021. Also, with the passing of the great Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I mean, for states like Arizona, where we have maintained a criminal felony abortion ban that's been on our books since we were a territory, that was being enforced all the way up to 2 weeks before the Roe v. Wade decision, our courts upheld the law as constitutional. And so the other reality too, when it comes to reproductive freedom and seeing how Roe v. Wade is hanging by a thread in the balance, is we're prepared to actually move the piece of legislation, the bill that I've sponsored, that Republicans have put in the shelf, to actually move it and get it to the governor's desk, because we just don't believe that anyone should be sent to prison for exercising their reproductive freedom. And then the other components, just echoing what Representative Bolden talked about, keeping people in their homes, keeping people's utilities on during this tumultuous time with the pandemic. Arizona is the 2nd lowest state for benefits regarding unemployment insurance. So we want to increase it from $240 a week to the national average, which I believe is $490. So these are just some of the things that we think holistically are really going to have a tangible and strong impact on Arizonans' lives. And we're ready to hit the ground running from day one.
Representative Bolden, Representative Salman, both of you are inspirations for everything that you do. So I cannot have this conversation without asking both of you, what advice do you have for the women who are watching, who are thinking about wanting to run for office, and particularly serving in the state house?
Well, first, if you haven't done Emerge yet, you should absolutely sign up and do an Emerge training. If you don't have an Emerge in your state, contact National, and because National can support you. Chances are you are already qualified to run for office. You are worthy of this elected position. And you probably already know how to run a campaign. That was one of the amazing experiences I had with Emerge. It was being surrounded by a community of women who were Democratic, who were pro-choice, and believed in female leadership. And I think creating that space and building that foundation for those aspirations, the alternative is people who aren't like us filling these seats and not sharing our lived experiences. And one of the things that I think is really remarkable about these past 4 years is the gains that we made. A'shanti, you mentioned how we're seeing state houses and state legislatures for the first time in our country's history gain that gender parity, gain that 50% representation of women. And it starts with women like you making that decision to run, and then reaching out and getting the help you need, because there are people out there ready to help and who believe in candidates like yourself. So, but the first step is reaching out to folks who you think that could help you, point you in that right direction, and then just taking the leap and running.
Yeah, I want to echo everything that Rep. Solomon said. But one thing I would add is don't ask for permission, because you'll never get it. Unfortunately, with women, we have to be asked several times to run for office. So if you're thinking about running for office, then decide that you're going to do it and make a plan to do it. And if you have Emerge, please contact Emerge that's in your area, or the National Emerge America, because they will help you through the process. But you are ready to run for office just with the desire to make changes, and you have a voice that needs to be represented. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and don't wait for permission to do so.
I agree with everything that you both said. Representative Bolden, Representative Salman, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. And thank you for everything that you do just to move our country forward. And thank you to all of you for watching. Join us at the top of next hour for our final Races to Watch Live, where we will recap the day. Thank you everyone so much, and see you soon. Bye.